If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hair thinning can happen for so many reasons. Whether it's stress or hormones or anything, at Nutrafol we've learned that real change starts below the surface. Our hair growth supplements take a whole-body approach and target the key root causes of hair thinning, so you can see visibly thicker, stronger hair in 3 to 6 months.
Hair growth starts from the inside at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com.
Calaroga Shark Media.
From the American nightclub where you can just come on in, if you pay the $5 million cover charge, this is Ballot.
Normally a joke goes here, but Elon laid off the guy who writes it. Hi, I'm Patrick Gutfield, and President Goldfingers has a shiny new plan for immigration reform. Donald Trump announced Tuesday that the U.S. will be selling a special gold card to wealthy foreigners, giving them the right to live and work in America, all for the bargain basement price of $5 million. That's right, forget the green card. Now we've got the gold card. Because nothing says land of opportunity like literally selling citizenship to the highest bidder. Trump announced from the Oval Office, we're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges, plus it's going to be a route to citizenship. When asked if these cards would be available to Russian oligarchs, Trump didn't miss a beat. Yeah, possibly. I know some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people. Of course he does. Nothing inspires confidence in immigration policy like personal vouchers from the president. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick chimed in that these gold-plated immigrants will have to go through vetting, of course, to make sure they're wonderful, world-class global citizens. You know, the kind of vetting that can only be done with a $5 million price tag. This gold card will replace the current EB-5 investor visa program, which already allows wealthy foreigners to buy their way into America for just over $1 million. Apparently, that was too affordable. Trump's businesses have previously used this program to fund property developments, but why settle for $1 million when you can charge $5? The sale of these cards will begin in about 2 weeks, with Trump suggesting millions could be sold. At $5 million a pop, that's quite the fundraiser. Coming soon, the Platinum Card includes citizenship and a photo op with the president for $10 million. Meanwhile, over 250,000 Canadians have signed a petition to revoke Musk's Maple Leaf membership card amid rising tensions with the Trump administration. The petition, launched on February 20th, accuses Musk of acting against Canada's national interests and undermining its sovereignty. But here's the kicker. Musk responded on X with, "Canada is not a real country." Nothing says diplomatic finesse like telling an entire nation it doesn't exist. He later deleted the post, probably after remembering his mom was born in Saskatchewan. For those keeping score at home, the petition claims Musk has used his wealth and power to influence our elections and has now become a member of a foreign government that is attempting to erase Canadian sovereignty. That's quite the accusation for someone whose citizenship comes through his mother's side. The petition is largely symbolic since Canadian citizenship can only be revoked if someone has committed fraud or misrepresentation on their application. But it's already gathered over 250,000 signatures, which is a lot considering Canada's entire population is just 38 million people. That's like if over 2 million Americans signed a petition saying they didn't want Ted Cruz anymore, which, let's be honest, they probably would. The petition remains open until June 20th, but with a spring election potentially dissolving Parliament, it may not receive an official response. I guess Musk will have to settle for being a citizen of just the United States, South Africa, and whatever planet he's planning to colonize next. Vice President J.D. Vance's hometown paper has decided to give him a little feedback on his job performance. And let's just say, they're not exactly planning a parade in his honor. The Ohio Capital Journal published what can only be described as a literary beatdown. referring to Vance as a lapdog vice president with nondescript role as an appendage in the Trump-Musk administration. That's the political equivalent of your mom saying she's not mad, just disappointed. Reporter Marilu Johannek didn't hold back, writing that Vance, the shameless election denier in service to an authoritarian regime lawlessly dismantling a democratic republic, had the towering audacity and historical blindness to lecture his European audience on democracy. I haven't seen burns that severe since I accidentally touched my dinner plate after the waiter said, "Careful, it's hot." Despite building his entire brand around his Rust Belt roots and writing hillbilly elegy about growing up poor in Appalachia, Vance doesn't seem to be making his home state very proud. Polls showed he was one of the least popular vice presidential picks in history, which is saying something considering the competition. The article concludes with the question, seriously, what is wrong with JD? A query that feels less like journalism and more like something your therapist asks when you tell them about your ex. The good news for Vance is that the bar for vice presidential accomplishments is so low it's practically a tripping hazard in hell. The bad news is he somehow still managed to limbo under it. Embark on an extraordinary journey into the heart of one of the world's most ancient and mysterious institutions with White Smoke, the path to a new pope. This captivating podcast series takes listeners behind the scenes of the Catholic Church's most solemn and consequential event, the passing of a pope and the selection of his successor. From the moment the silver hammer strikes the Pope's forehead 3 times to confirm his death, to the burning of his papal ring, White Smoke unveils the intricate rituals and closely guarded traditions that mark this sacred transition. Listeners will gain unprecedented insight into the secret conversations and centuries-old customs that guide the cardinals in their selection of the next leader of the world's 1 billion Catholics. Whether you are a devout Catholic, a student of history, or simply fascinated by the workings of one of the world's most enduring institutions, White Smoke is an immersive and illuminating journey that will leave you with a newfound appreciation for the timeless traditions and profound mysteries of the Catholic Church. White Smoke, wherever you get your shows. The Washington Post has an article about Fyre Festival 2, Revenge of the Scammer. That's right. Billy McFarland, the guy who brought you cheese sandwiches where luxury cabanas should be, is back with another festival in Mexico. 8 years after maybe perhaps possibly allegedly scamming people out of their life savings and serving prison time, McFarland announced tickets are now on sale for Fyre Festival 2. Because if there's one thing Americans love, it's sequels that no one asked for. The new festival will take place on Isla Mujeres in Mexico from May 30th to June 2nd. And what amazing musical acts will be there? Well, none that they're willing to name yet. McFarland told NBC, "I'm not in charge of booking the talent," which is exactly what you want to hear from the guy selling you music festival tickets. Tickets start at a mere $1,400 and go all the way up to $1,100,000. And what do you get for that? Access to something called the water stage and front row viewing of a fight pit. I haven't heard something that terrifying since the last presidential debate. The good news is, if you buy the $1 million package, you get helicopter transportation. The bad news is the helicopter might just be a drawing of a helicopter that McFarland made in prison. When asked if he's even allowed to travel to Mexico, given his probation status, McFarland said, "I don't know." Inspiring confidence there, Billy. Ja Rule, who co-founded the original disaster, is nowhere to be found this time. Even he knows when to get off a sinking yacht. Which, coincidentally, might be what you'll be staying on if you buy the Prometheus package. So if you have $1 million burning a hole in your pocket and absolutely hate yourself, boy, do I have a festival for you. Or you could just set your money on fire while listening to Spotify. Same experience, fewer lawsuits. Speaking of setting money on fire, the California governor with the perfect hair is at it again. Gavin Newsom, you know him, you've seen him, you've watched him gel that hair to perfection, is launching a new podcast called This is Gavin Newsom. He's promising it'll be anything but the ordinary politician podcast. You know what else isn't ordinary? The amount of product that man puts in his hair. I'm surprised the podcast microphone doesn't just slide right off his head. This iHeartMedia production will feature Newsom talking to people he disagrees with and people he looks up to. In the first few weeks, he says he'll be sitting down with some of the biggest leaders and architects in the MAGA movement. which is a bit like inviting wolves over to discuss your sheep protection strategy. Newsom also claims he'll answer listener questions about egg prices, tariffs, Doge. Hey, if you want financial advice from a politician, you might as well ask a casino owner about retirement planning. This isn't Newsom's first rodeo in the podcast world. He's already co-hosting something called Politickin' with Marshawn Lynch and Doug Hendrickson. I hear that one's great if you enjoy the sound of hair being combed for 45 minutes straight. Newsom told Politico his new podcast will be modeled after Bill Maher's show, featuring personalities from both sides of the political divide. With less than 2 years left in his term, Newsom is widely viewed as a presidential prospect for 2028. I guess he's the Yakov Smirnoff of politics. This candidate doesn't go on political podcasts. Podcasts go on him. Portions of today's program were made with the help of a 30-year-old Yakov Smirnoff reference, AI, and the Fire Festival.
It is the world's most secretive election. When a pope dies, ancient traditions begin. A silver hammer, a destroyed ring, over 100 cardinals locked away from the world, choosing the next leader of 1 billion faithful. White Smoke. The Path to a New Pope, from Calaroga Shark Media, wherever you get your podcasts.